Welcome back to The Person Everyone Needs. I am Webb Hoggard, and today we're continuing talking about Jonathan. And today I want to just basically start out with the premise of be strong and courageous. In 2018, I went to Israel. I sat on the hillside of Bethlehem and looked at the field that David very likely watched his sheep. From that vantage point, you can see Jerusalem. During the time that David would have been a kid and a shepherd, Jerusalem would have been governed by a different group of people called the Jebusites. I wonder if he ever dreamed about taking the city for God. I don't think he ever saw himself as king. But when he became Israel's leader, the first thing he did was take Jerusalem and unify the nation of Israel. That's the attitude of a man filled with passion and ambition. This is what it means to be a man of courage, to put your all into what you're doing. The word courage literally means to put all of your heart into whatever you're doing. Deuteronomy 6:5 says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might." When Jesus was asked by a lawyer what the greatest commandment was, he replied to love God with all your being, giving to God everything you have. Leaning into God and His mission with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength. The way I teach my boys to think of this quote is, love the Lord with all your heart, hands, and head. We quote this to one another many nights before bed. In the same vein, our motto gets shouted each night before we sleep. My boys scream, be strong, be courageous, be wise, be kind, be steadfast. I want them to live up to what Jesus expects of us. I want them to live full-hearted lives. I hope they lean into God knowing He is going to take care of their journeys through life. I don't want them leaning on their own understanding, but believing for God's hand to move before them. When Luke, my oldest, was an infant, he had terrible colic. I remember pacing every night with him for about an hour and a half because he could only calm down if someone would walk with him. I would walk and pray and dream and sing over him. I remember praying for God to make him a mighty man of faith. God, make him strong and full of courage. Let him take care of all those around him. Make him generous and kind. I had no idea that God would begin to work those very traits in me. In order for my boys to become what I was asking from God, He had to make their example into those things. Within a year of these prayers, I had quit my current job so I could dream bigger. I believed for my first lead pastorate. I went 6 months with no consistent income. That leap of faith stretched me so much, but it began to make me the type of man who would be able to inspire strength, vision, courage, and faith to my sons. Thankfully, I didn't have colic babies with the other two, but still I pray big prayers over them, and each prayer stretches me. In the Old Testament, we see the phrase, be strong and courageous, coupled together so many times. It made me ask, why the distinction? Each word significant. And before we look at the differences, I want to show you why we can live this way. 366 times in the Bible it says, do not fear. Often it is mentioned alongside, be strong and courageous. Every time we see this thought in Scripture, it is tied to the knowledge that God is with you. God is with you. Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. The Lord Himself goes before you. He will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid or discouraged. Deuteronomy 31:8. Isaiah 41:10 says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will surely help you. I will uphold you with my right hand of righteousness. Remind yourself that God is always with you. I have no reason to be afraid. He has brought me this far. He will take me on to the end. Let the knowledge of His continual presence make you strong and courageous. The idea of strong in these verses is that of skill. Keep your mind sharp, your body able. Strong in the sense of a resume means documenting your competency. What are you good at? What are you improving in? Where are your skills? Your strengths can range from a sense of humor to mixed martial arts. When people look to you for help, what do you see as your abilities that can help bring them up? When you think on your abilities, what is your best offering? Jonathan proved to be an able warrior. We see him take out the Philistine garrison with precision. He was a man worthy to be feared because of his ability to fight. He was a leader, inspiring the loyalty and passion of his armor-bearer to go forward and attack. He was a leader worth following. Competent, strong, powerful, authoritative, having the ability to show others how things are to be done. Now, the other attribute of courage has very little to do with ability, but all to do with the drive. It feeds on passion. It's not caught up in the how as much as in the why. Courage and bravery don't make a plan when the building is on fire, but they storm the inferno to save whoever may still be in there. Courage presses up the hill knowing the enemy has weapons that you don't. Bravery shows up when it's easier to shrink back. Men of valor have the heart to prove faithful in the midst of fear. In fact, the greater the fears, the more apparent the courage. The world we live in today is so calculated, so domesticated. We are destined for mediocrity if we don't find a way to shock us out of our baseline living. We were designed to be wild. Somewhere in our hearts, we like the dirt from whence we came. We like the mud. We want to climb trees and jump the high-flying swings. Scraped knees, bloody noses, and black eyes are a rite of passage. Yet we're taught to be tame. We're taught to chill. I don't want to be tame any longer. It's time to unleash what God has given us. Put your heart on display. Be big enough to risk. Be vulnerable enough to let someone know who you are deep down. You may get hurt. You may break. You may be rejected. You may scrape the knees of your soul or your dreams, but you may finally live. If you're single, take the plunge and ask the person of your dreams out. Have the heart to put yourself out there. If you're married, be the person you've always wanted. Don't be afraid of the rejection or embarrassment. Be the charming prince you always dreamed of being. Take control of your destiny and become who you always wanted to be. Live full-hearted. If be strong is more about mentality or skill, then be courageous is more about the will. The doggone determination to see something through to the end. You know those people who seem to bend reality in their favor. Sometimes courage is more powerful than ability. One of my absolute favorite athletes of all time was Tim Tebow. I got the absolute joy of seeing him play once when he was in high school. And he played for the state championship in Miami, Florida. And I was there when I was living in Florida when he was playing for the Gators. I got to cheer for him regularly. I followed his career closely. I was ecstatic for him when he went into the NFL, even though everyone spoke of his limitations as a passer. I remember his finest hour in the NFL was a run into the playoffs where they finally let him play his game. There would come a time, usually late in the game, when you could just read his eyes that something great was about to happen. There was a fire with him when he was on the field. His limitations as an NFL quarterback seemed to fade away when he was pressed into a corner. He had a winner's spirit. I remember the playoff game that he threw an 80-yard touchdown pass in overtime to defeat the much-favored Pittsburgh Steelers. There wouldn't be a chance without the courage to sling that ball down the field. If he only listened to the critics, he wouldn't have lived out a dream. To stay for a moment on football, I personally believe Peyton Manning is the most gifted quarterback in history. Peyton had the strength of mind to take control of an entire game. Accurate passer with a near spiritual ability to read defenses and change what was in front of him. To consider him the strongest quarterback would not be a stretch, but he is definitely not the greatest. Tom Brady will probably carry the title of GOAT, the greatest of all time, not so much because of his talent as his will. You never watch a game with Brady that you don't believe he can come back and win. He has the courage to see a victory in whatever circumstance his team finds themselves. So, for us, be strong and courageous. Work on your competency. Become as strong as you possibly can, and don't quit for anything. That's what it means to be strong and courageous, competent and resilient. Ability and perseverance is powerful, Put all of your heart and soul into the dream, career, ability, or battle. That's exactly what it means to put your heart and soul into something. Once you find out what your great purpose is, throw all your strength and heart behind it. I like to think of faith, hope, and love in this context too. Faith is based in the mind. It's the thing you stand on no matter what. It's the sure footing of what you are convinced of. Hope is believe in a better tomorrow. Hope is godly feeling. When you think of the future of your circumstances, do you think better is coming, or does fear overtake you? Your emotions must come under control of faith in God so it can be moved into action of the will, which is love. I like to say it this way: godly thoughts inform emotions and push you into action. And our action always moves us toward love. The strong and courageous are always a part of the person that everyone needs.